Hey there, and welcome to our first Miraculous Ladybug Season 5 review. And after quite a short break, we've arrived at the debut of Season 5 with Episode 1, Evolution. And yeah, this episode exists, I guess. Look, I'm about to rewatch it before writing the rest of this video out, but my first impression was, like it wasn't bad, but I don't know, I found it a bit confusing at times. And a lot of the characters' choices just didn't make any sense to me. But I guess we'll talk about that more when we get back to it. And also, before we start, let's talk about that big time leak from a couple of days ago, where somebody leaked the showrunner Bible with all the spoilers and story decisions and future plot points. I mean, I know we love to clown on Asterix here, but Jesus, this would be gutting. Imagine spending all of this time working on something like this, and then somebody goes out of their way to try and ruin it for you. It's pretty sad. Like, I'm not going to be delving into the spoilers themselves, because I have no interest in antagonizing anybody and getting myself sued. But the spoilers are out there now, and you can't put them back in the box, so it just feels very tragic. I very rarely feel that sorry for the creators, but this is one of those rare times. But anyway, let's get back on topic and start talking about the episode. So we start off the episode pretty much where we left off with the Season 4 finale, with the artist formerly known as Shadow Moth monologuing, talking about how he's taken all of the Miraculouses and that he's going to punish the people of Paris until Ladybug and Cat Noir give up their Miraculouses. And of course, since this is not real life but instead a cartoon, I know right, I'm as shocked as you are, the people don't immediately turn on the heroes. And the media remains firmly on their side as well. But in reality, people would cancel these two so hard in real life for failing in their duty and for putting people at risk. Anyway, he renames himself Monarch, and Cat Noir and Ladybug scare him off for the time being. We then cut to the man himself, who is once again in his creepy basement where he's monologuing to his wife's corpse. Again, telling her how he has access to all the Miraculouses and he'll be able to steal the Ladybug and Cat and bring her back to life. Sass tries to tell him that this is a terrible idea, only to get silenced and informed that he and the other Kwamis are nothing more than his slaves, and that they're stupid creatures. What an asshole. He somehow managed to get even worse during the short break between seasons 4 and 5. Nice. And also, I doubt this is quite the reunion with the other Kwamis that Nuru was hoping for. Poor little fella. But at least they're with him now. And also, this scene was intercut very clumsily with a scene of Ladybug and Cat Noir reassuring the people of Paris that they won't lose, and honestly, I did not like it. It interrupted the flow of the villain scene, and Gabe was the character I actually wanted to see anyway, as his actions are going to drive the narrative of the episode. They could have just played these scenes back to back and it would have worked better. Back to Gabe though, he calls up Natalie and tells her that he now has the majority of the Miraculouses, including the rabbit, which is going to allow him to time travel. Natalie tries to tell him to wait because she's realised that he's nothing more than a smooth-brained cretin at the best of times, and his best plans literally always involve her helping him. But he doesn't listen, and he powers up into what has to be the worst costume of all time. Like I said in my trailer breakdown, this dude looks like a rejected Star Wars character from the prequels that would be chilling in a bar on Coruscant trying to sell you death sticks. I just don't know what they were thinking with this. Who designed this man? I'm honestly surprised that Ladybug and Cat Noir didn't just break down laughing when they caught a glimpse of him. He just looks so ridiculous. Purple skin? Cutting back to Ladybug and Cat Noir, they watch as Monarch falls through a time portal onto his head before escaping, being followed by future versions of themselves, before Bunnix arrives and takes them to stop Monarch as he's gone for the home run by using the most powerful Miraculous first to try and rewrite history. And so here we cut back to Monarch again, where we see him do just that. At first, trying to do so by heading to the Lady Wi-Fi episode, you know, the one where Lady Wi-Fi has the perfect opportunity to remove the earrings, but she just doesn't. Anyway, he almost succeeds until the heroes go back a little bit further in time and prevent him from even getting out of the portal in the first place, effectively undoing all of his actions, and starting a big brawl in the burrow, which ends with Bunnix getting paralysed by the Bee Miraculous, and Cat Noir taking her Rabbit Miraculous so they can follow him through the time portal he's escaped through. And of course, just to keep things fair at this point, it becomes clear that he's weakening himself by spamming different Miraculouses, because he isn't just strong enough to handle it on his own. What a schmuck. Anyway, Cat Noir gets to use the rabbit because he needs some plot relevance, and the pair begin to chase Monarch through time, first through the Repost battle, then during the events of Heroes Day where he almost sees their actual identities. They then freefall past the Eiffel Tower, pass by Nino and Alia's first kiss in Animan, go past their past selves from the start of the episode, before ending up in Nazi-occupied France when Fu's trying to escape with the Miraculouses. Gabe starts breaking down even more as he starts spamming the Miraculouses again and again, and full on just collapses in front of the heroes. Now that's gotta be pretty embarrassing. Imagine if he was just straight up dead from overdosing himself. It would be pretty awkward when they take all the Miraculouses off and it's just Adrian's dad's corpse. What would they do? Just leave him in 1940s Paris? Take him back and chuck him in the fridge with Emily? Would Adrian have to go and live in London with his aunt? Anyway, they take the rabbit and then they just stand there awkwardly, allowing him to use the dog to get back the bunny and escape. And are they serious right now? Why didn't they flip him over and start wailing on him and then take a bunch of the Miraculouses off him so he's nerfed? At the very least, take the dog. Brainless, helpless, hopeless. Anyway, Gabe tries once again to ambush the heroes in the past at a time when they're weakened, but breaks down again and is told by the Kwamis that he needs to feed them, and so he takes them to Natalie to be fed. Also, does this mean he's never fed Nuru before? Does Natalie do that or something? Does Nuru have to sneak off when Gabe's asleep to have something to eat? It's kind of sad. Meanwhile, Ladybug and Rabbit Noir manage to convince Past Fu to help them and get him to give them the dog Miraculous so they can use it for some extra special timey-wimey shenanigans. We then cut to young Alex and her dad, where they're walking together through the museum, and he keeps checking his watch, waiting for something, whilst giving a speech to her about following her dreams and how he's proud of her, etc, etc. You know, sappy stuff. Ladybug and... No, I can't do it. He's still Cat Noir. No Rabbit Noir here. Anyway, they arrive, and they give her the dog Miraculous to help them get Monarch's rabbit, and she transforms into Canny Girl, Dog Girl, who cares? Anyway, they tell her that when she gets the rabbit Miraculous, she has to hold on to it until Monarch's defeated. And for some reason, she can't come back to her normal time. And I don't understand why. Am I stupid? Is there an actual reason? Did they explain why beyond, oh, it's to keep it safe? I mean, it's not like he could take it back off her once she's got it, because after they take it back, he can't time travel to try and find her, right? And his past selves never used it to find her, so essentially that means she's safe. I mean, is he seriously going to check with the dog Miraculous every day? You could just skip forward like a week, and he wouldn't be trying to use the dog to find it. So what the hell's going on? Plus, on top of that, he doesn't know who she is. Like, he's not going to chase her down. I know that her adult version's in the burrow exposed, but realistically, do you think Gabe, of all people, pays enough attention to realize who that actually is? That he would put together that this is the adult version of one of his son's random classmates? Really doubtful. So why are they acting like this is some big noble sacrifice? Somebody explain to my smooth-brained self why she needs to stay away for so long. Like, she could literally skip forward a few days. How she even writes a letter to her dad about all of this from the past? It's like, how long's she gone? A couple of weeks? Months? And it's pretty clear that this ends at the end of this season. And for her, wouldn't it only be a matter of minutes? Wouldn't she just use the burrow to find the point where Monarch is defeated and go there to celebrate with the team? I think the writers thought this would be a bit more emotional than it actually was. This isn't an Iron Man snaps Thanos level sacrifice or a Spider-Man erases himself from living memory type of thing. This plot point was dumb to me. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I just think it's stupid. Moving on though, she powers up, and Jesus, the dog Miraculous has the shittest costumes in the world, doesn't it? Anyway, they go back to World War II and she touches the Bunny Miraculous, and then they lay a trap for Monarch and lay in wait in the Heroes Day episode on the Eiffel Tower. We then go back to Gabe and Natalie, where Natalie's feeding all the Kwamis and tells Gabe that it'll be way smarter to actually go back in time to before Emily used the broken Peacock Miraculous and give them the fix on a USB, and thus they'll be able to save the day, and time is going to be rewritten to ensure that none of this ever happens. Gabe then wonders how he couldn't have possibly thought of this, and yeah, I wonder why you were unable to do this, mate. Jesus, the lack of self-awareness on these smooth brainers. We then have Monarch Gabe looking back on, well, I guess this is the night that Adrian's conceived? Because look, he gives her the peacock and then he scoops her up and carries her off. Like, no way that him scooping her up after saying, "Are you sure you're ready?" is anything other than them going off to have sex. Maybe I'm just a filthy-minded fool, but that's what it feels like. Is she going to make an egg senti monster to be fertilized by handsome Gabe? I mean, this is the weirdest tangent I've ever been taken on watching this show, but it truly feels like that's what they're hinting at here. I think I need to lie down. But then, Gabe sees that goddamn ladybug box just as he's about to fix everything, just as he's about to win, he snatches defeat from the jaws of victory. Smooth brain! Why? Literally, why are you so stupid? How could you possibly think that this is anything other than a trap? How can you be so deeply foolish? Is his brain just mush at this stage? On what planet does it seem like doing the risky play makes the most sense in this context? Anyway, the dipshit gets bamboozled and loses the rabbit before they straight up leave him in the past. And similarly, at first, this felt foolish. Couldn't he just help Scarlet Moth beat the heroes here? Like, what were they thinking? At least, that's what I thought until they freed Bunnix and she sends him back in time just as he's about to try and bamboozle them right back. And so once again, he looks like a complete clown. Also, mate, if you're about to confront your enemies, please use the Snake Miraculous beforehand so you have a second chance. I'd be such a better supervillain than this guy. Pathetic. And so, from here, young Alex goes off on her magical adventure, and I'm still not sure why. And Monarch escapes from the heroes again and goes home looking like a fool, as is tradition. And then he gets home and he gets a phone call from Natalie, who reams him out because he's a complete idiot who failed to save his wife using a very easy method, and now has also condemned her to death. And then she breaks away from being a complete simp and tells him to piss off. Love it. Good for her. But it's just a shame that it took getting a terminal illness to realize that this dude is not worth your time. But oh well. You win some, you lose some, eh, Nat? And then, after Gabe quite humorously screams into the nether, we end the episode. And you know what? Maybe I was a little bit too harsh on my first watch. It wasn't quite as bad as I thought. Although, the smooth brain bullshit verges on the heroes having plot armor, and the whole Alex thing, it's still confusing to me. Otherwise, it's a decent start to the season. And so, now I'll remind you that these are just my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the episode? You like it? Hate it? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know.